Yo, good evening everyone. This has been a while since I made a video, and I've got something pretty simple on the bench. I've got a PS3 Slim here, and I actually had like 15 of these. I didn't want to do 15 on one video or 15 videos. I usually just want to do one video. Unfortunately, I kind of fixed all those other ones thinking that I would just leave this one and just work on this for a video. Except this is the one that actually works. As weird as it sounds, it was listed as 4 parts or not working on eBay, bought it, got it in, and there's nothing wrong with it. Boots up, reads discs just fine, goes online just fine, even holds time, even after being unplugged for like 2 months. So the RTC battery is perfectly fine. So there's really nothing to do to fix, but I'm gonna go through the process for, I guess, doing some maintenance on a PS3 or restoring a PS3. It's not even dirty, but we can at least go through here. I'm going to upgrade the hard drive to a 1 terabyte drive. See if I got it in there. A 1 terabyte drive. Replace the thermal paste, clean it out a little bit, and that's pretty much it. So this is just some maintenance you can do on your PS3, and hopefully this video helps you out. So we'll flip it over. And I'm going to speed through this a little bit. Depending on which model of Slim that you have, you'll have 4 screws towards the front here. You'll always have these 3 right over here, but you could also have a 4th right here. It depends on the model of the PS3 Slim. So we'll start by taking off the feet. There's these 3 in the corner, all pop off, and they've already taken the warranty sticker off. So I'm almost wondering if they already did maintenance, like they cleaned it out and replaced the thermal paste. We're still going to do it anyway because I didn't do it and I don't know what all they did. So this is where you'd normally have the warranty sticker, and there's another little pop-in clip here, this side, back here, and this one right here. These are pretty easy to take out. You just slide your fingernail under them. If you don't have a fingernail, because I know some people out there like to trim it nice and short or they chew on them, you can get a little spudger like this, or whatever you'd like to use. And then this just flips out and rotates freely. There's a little Phillips head screwdriver, or Phillips head screw in there. And this is for the hard drive. It's a very long screw. This is so if you wanted to upgrade the hard drive, or if you're having some issues where like it's running really slow, it's not really loading games properly, if it starts to load a game and then crashes, or load, something, it's loading something and then crashes, usually an indicator that the hard drive is going bad. This one actually worked and played just fine. Hard drive might be good, but I've noticed on PS3s, these are roughly 10-15 years old, so the hard drives are failing pretty frequently. So we're going to place the hard drive, 4 screws, very simple. Take off all 4 of these and then put the new hard drive in and all 4 screws back in. And it's a little lip right here on the edge, so you just lift up on this side and it slides out. New hard drive is going to facing in, slide under the lip, and pop it right in. And 4 screws to put back in. And it's that simple. We will still have to do something with this, and then we have to install the operating system to go with it. We will get to that after we're actually done restoring this. So next we're going to take out these 4 screws down here, and then the 2, 4, 7 Phillips head screws holding the case together. These screws right here in the front, though, these are all T8, Torx 8 bits. And I'm going to use my electric screwdriver, and we'll speed right through this. the front part of the system facing away from me. I'm going to lift up on the back and straight up. I do that because there's 3 clips right here on the front of the system that kind of slide into the little guide thingies right there. And this is immaculate. It is super clean on the inside. So I wonder if they did take it apart and clean it up. But next is, let me just bring it down a little bit. Move this over. There's going to be 2 connectors right here. This is for the mains input over on the right side, and this is the 5-volt and signal that go towards actually powering on the system. You just want to lift the clip right here and pull up, and then this right over here, you can just pull straight up on it and it comes off pretty easily. And then 2 more Phillips head screws on this side over here, and then on this side right here. So let's take these off, and these are actually usually pretty tight too, so easy peasy. And then we've got the power supply to come out next. There is the actual 12-volt connector, little prongs or whatever. It's over here on this side. So this side's usually pretty tight. This over here is very loose. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to lift up slightly so that I can get my fingers on this little lip right here. And then I'm going to put my other fingers, pinch it over here on this side, and lift straight up. I'm lifting on the left side because of those prongs. And then just come right out. And then there's those prongs that I was talking about. This is the 12-volt input for the system itself. Now that I've actually got that power supply off, I had suspected that it has been open, and it definitely was. The void warranty sticker or whatever was taken off, but this little paper strip right here over the antennas is not damaged. Neither is this one right here for the Blu-ray drive power connector. I'm pretty sure it's power. So if they did take this apart, I'm not sure what they did, because they didn't get any further than this. Since I'm going to be taking the board out, we need to take the AC connector out. There we go, off camera when I did that. Pinch it back. So it's kind of just slid down here, held in with some tabs and everything. All you want to do, I like to do it, is I just grab the 2 wires and then I kind of pull backwards towards me and it just pops right out. And we're going to unplug the fan connector. Zoom you back out. A little too much zoom. A little bit more. There we go. Fan connector. Straight down here. Pull straight up. Comes right out. And we're going to take these cables off. That's for the power supply. And this is the power for the Blu-ray drives. Just comes right off. Easy enough. Lift up a little flap. Oh, we can't really see that too well. I'm going to get you in nice and close. Oh, come on. Nice and close. Oh, so much zoom. A digital zoom too. I know people like that. Okay, I'm gonna get a spudger. This is pretty fancy right here. There's a little flap right here, the brown part. All you do is you just flip it up. Bam. Magic. It's amazing how that works. And then this little ribbon cable, you just want to pull. Don't worry, I'm not gonna pull it up my hand in the way. Grab it, pull straight up. Ooh, awesome sauce. All right, zoom back out. Loop, too much zoom out. And we'll bring it back up. Next part is the Blu-ray drive. And it's just going to lift right up. But this starter board front panel piece is actually clipped in and slightly holding this down. So I like to lift this up. Oh, it's tight. Lift that up out of the way. And you can just lift the Blu-ray drive straight up. Oh, I forgot to screw. Oh, amateur. Screw right there. It's black too. You can't even see it unless you know it's there. And then with that screw out of the way, now we can lift this out. Ooh, all in one. Magic. I don't know why I'm talking like this. So this is a bit interesting. This is the second PS3 I've ever taken apart and actually looked like this on the inside. I'm talking about these antennas right here. I think all PS3 Slims that I've ever taken apart have these 3 little prong things right there. Can you even see those? Let's zoom down a little bit. These 3 prong things that the antenna cords are wrapped around. Except, I'm talking about 2000 models and the 2500 models. All have these 3 prongs. But this is the second PS3 I've ever taken apart where the antenna wires are this long and actually wrap around these prongs like this. So it's very interesting that they still have the prongs, but they don't wrap them around there. The other ones, usually they just go right through here and don't even like really touch those. Or they go around the fan like this and then come up over the Blu-ray drive and then back down. Whatever. Weird, but yeah, it works. Let me just take the, I'm zooming back out. Let's zoom back out. I'm just gonna take the antenna connectors out. Be kind of delicate when you do that. All I did was just kind of pull them up slightly until they just loosen themselves. And then unwrap them. Okay, and then we're gonna lift the little cable, flat ribbon cable right here up for this little eject power button board, and these will come right out. Except we cannot take this out yet. There's actually screws holding this together too. So I'm gonna change the angle again, and I'm gonna cut to that. All right, sorry about that. I was just not liking that little side angle because it's making it difficult for me to actually sit down and really get comfortable. So you should be in focus. There are, was it 3 black screws, right down here, one right here and one right here, and then 2 silver screws up here holding this down. So let's take out these screws and then we can lift the entire board and everything else up. Ooh, I almost lost one right there at the end. All right, so all the screws are out. This will be nice and easy. I like to hold the antenna wires up here towards the front so they don't get in the way. And I'm just gonna grab the fan assembly and lift straight up. That easy. Move that off to the side. And then we're gonna take out all the Phillips heads on the back here. There's one back here, one right here in the corner. There's usually one right up here too. It might be in a different spot depending on the model. And then there's always these 2 right here up on this corner. So we're gonna take these out and then take the little clamps holding in the pressure on the CPU, or no, the APU and the RSX. I don't know which one's which, but one of these goes to APU and one's RSX. So take out all the screws and then we can lift this up. Okay, easy enough, just lift out screws. The silver ones are usually pretty tight, depending on how long it's been there. I'm not sure. Sometimes they're really tight and sometimes they come out pretty easy. Next we're gonna lift off this shiny silver plate right here. And I haven't looked at the camera, but I'm sure there's reflecting a lot of light. Ooh, very interesting. So this is a 2101A model. I think that's what it was. Going by the numbering, it should be before the 2500 model, except this model has just some of these standard, I don't know what to call them. They're tantalum capacitors, but they're not, is it tantalum? Yes, tantalum capacitors, but they're not the NEC token capacitors. So I wonder if maybe this was just a refurb by Sony. I'm not sure, and they used a later model motherboard inside this one. I have no idea. I really am unsure, but normally whenever you'd open these, it would have NEC token capacitors, I think on this. I think this is the RSX, and then these regular tantalum capacitors over on this one. What I'm talking about is these 3 capacitors right here. They're all black, and these 3 right here, these are tantalum capacitors. And they don't say any brand on them or anything, but they just say 470 microfarad and some model number. But you'll also see a fat rectangular one that's probably about 3 times as wide as one of these. And it'll say NEC token. Those NEC tokens are known to go bad and cause the yellow light of death. But this one doesn't have any of them, even though it's a 2101A model. I'm not really 100% sure. I haven't worked on a whole lot of PS3s. I'm literally rambling right now. We're just gonna pop this straight out. That's pretty easy. Normally it's much more difficult. And what would happen sometimes is once I'm going to set my finger right up here in the front towards the USB ports. You can start with the USB ports too. You're just going to lift it up and it'll bow slightly because there's a chip right under here, under this port. It has a heatsink compound on it. This will lift up first because it's pretty easy, but this one here in the back will still kind of stick to that heatsink pretty well. And it'll kind of cause it to bow a little bit. So you usually lift up a little bit. This one comes free, and I'll take my spudger and I'll move it right over here on the edge. You want to wiggle it in there, and that way you can get leverage over to here. So when I'm wiggling it in there, I'm trying to get over to here and then just kind of rotate and lift up on the spudger. That way it's not putting a lot of force on the solder balls that are underneath the chip, but rather force on trying to get under that heat sink. Usually you make it, usually before you even make it over to the heat sink, it's already lifted itself up. But this one is really easy, so I'm almost suspecting that there is new thermal paste on this one. I've rambled again, but just some tips and tricks, things you might run into on yours. And it's definitely not new thermal paste, because this is the same colored stuff that I would usually see on a PS3 Slim, or really just a PS3. It's slightly blue, but it's definitely not old. So I am slightly worried that, well, not really worried. I am slightly thinking that maybe this was a refurbished by Sony and they just swapped the motherboards out, sent it back to the person I bought it from, or person that got it from someone else. I don't know, I'm rambling again. All I'm going to do now is use some cotton swabs here, clean up all the thermal paste. I like to go dry first and then follow it up with some 90-something% isopropyl alcohol, whatever you can get at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, whatever's close to you. So let's do this real quick. Alright, there you go. Easy enough. And then I'm just gonna get some thermal paste. Ooh, there's not a lot left in that one, so I'm gonna have to get a new one. This is just me standing up, going over to my little drawer with some thermal paste in it. And I use, oh, camera's gonna move now. So sorry. Okay, I use this GD900 thermal paste. I can usually get it off of AliExpress for a couple of bucks per tube of this, and I think this is like 20 or 30 milligrams? I can't really remember. The GD900 is actually pretty good, even though it's just some quote-unquote cheap thermal paste. Works out pretty good. Take the cap off. I'm gonna do a little bit of an X right here. Ooh, it's gonna come out real strong. There we go. Across the RSX. This is actually way too much, but that's okay. And then across the APU, I'm gonna do like an X like this, because I want to make sure I get most of this heatsink. The actual die itself is not even close to the size of this silver square that you see right here. There is a die right in the center, and it's probably only about an inch, maybe wide, inch by an inch and a half, if that, under each one. So you really want to focus on the center, but it doesn't hurt to go out all the way to the edges, because I think the RSX actually has some cache memory in the corners. I've delidded these before, and I've seen chips over on the corners. I haven't really looked into it, but I'm just assuming it's some cache memory for the RSX. Bring this back over. We're gonna slide it in back first. So we're trying to get those ports lined up, because there's also a little tab, metal tab right here. There's a metal tab over here. Slides right in. This clamp, or this back plate, gets put on. And then I think I showed this trick before. I'm just trying to line that up. On a PS4. It's also applicable to the PS3. So these clamps right here, they're not X clamps. I don't know, I clamps. I want to bend these out a little bit because they're just steel and they've been sitting in the same position for God knows how many years. So I want to put my thumbs right in the center of it and then hold on to the edges using my forefingers here. And I'm going to kind of push in on my thumbs and pull towards me with my fingers That way it creates a little bit more of an angle on that. And it might not be too noticeable. I really don't want to go super hard on it. Maybe if I can line up the old one, the new one, you can kind of see a little bit of an angle there. I just want to make it a little bit of a harsher angle so that it applies a little bit more force to the APU and the RSX, just so it gets better contact between the heat spreader, the IHS, and the heatsink. Okay, so it's just going to reverse everything I just did, put all the screws back in on the back. That takes care of that. I'm just going to grab the bottom parts, bottom shell, put this back around, and then still holding on to the wires over here because I don't want them to get caught or snagged or anything. I'm going to start by putting the back side of the motherboard in first, kind of sliding it down. That way it goes in the ports and everything. Back side in first, and then just let it drop in, and everything should line up. There we go. Something is not lining up properly, or there's just a lot of spring in this side of the metal. Oh well. And I'm going to reverse the same thing again. There it goes. The 3 black screws right here on the sides and middle, and then the 2 silver ones up front. Easy enough. Now we can do the antenna wires. I'm just slide them down in here underneath that little clip there, or around these little, I don't know what the hell that is. Just a guide underneath that one. Oh my goodness, come on. You can do it. There we go. And then there's actually a bend in it, so you kind of know how it goes. We're going to go up through this one, back around to this one, and then under that one. And then I like how Sony did this. It says WLAN and BT, so Bluetooth. It also means like white and black, which is very fancy. Very fancy. So whites, be very careful when you put this on there. Line it up as best you can before you apply force, and it'll just clip right in. Same with the Bluetooth one. Line it up as best you can. It helps if you can see, and then push down. It is not lining up properly. There we go. That one looks good. And it just clips right in. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. If you ever had an issue where your PS3 was not keeping time after you'd powered it off and unplugged it, this is the RTC, real-time clock battery, CR2032. The 2032 is dimensions. I think it's 20 millimeters wide in diameter and 3.2 millimeters thick. That's just some golly gee willikers knowledge. But anyways, CR2032, it just pops right out and pop it right back in with a brand new one. You're good to go. So we're going to plug in the fan connector over here on this side, and one of the wires kind of came unwrapped underneath the clip lip thingamajig, right? Come on. Oh, you can do it, sweetheart. There we go. And then the connector, it only goes in one way, so you can't really screw it up. Slides right in, and it's a decent time to put the AC connector in. We're going to do the same way I did put the motherboard in. I'm going to put it in as an angle so that the AC input is kind of facing downwards, because you can see that there is a little bit, let's see, I gotta stand up, look at the camera. If you look at it, there's a little bit of an angle on these little guides right here. So right there, and a little bit of an angle right there. So just facing towards the back, and then slides right down. Transition the wires so they undergo this little lip right there. Zoom back out. Perfect. Next we'll be plugging in the ribbon cable for the front daughter board thing. Power supply or power button, eject button board. It's can be kind of fiddly because you need to line it up. Don't force it in, it should slide in pretty easily. If you force it, you may risk damaging some of the pins that are on it. Next, sliding in the Blu-ray drive. Just goes under the lip. Everything like that. I kind of put that in as an angle too, facing downwards, so I can get underneath this part of the fan shroud thing. And then this up here is going to clip right in. And everything is not cooperating with me today. There we go. Okay. Easy enough. There's really nothing else special about putting this back together, so I'm just going to speed through this next part. Now, here is normally where I would actually leave it open, and I wouldn't even put in all those screws if I was fixing a PS3. But I already know this works. I booted it up. I've literally played games on this, and I know it works just fine. So I put all the screws back together, and I'm going to put the top back on. I could talk about these clips right here. So we want this facing straight up. We're going to slide them into those little tangs right there at the front, and then it just comes right on down. Flip it over. And we'll put all the screws back in over on this side as well. That's everything put back together. I'm gonna put all the feet back in, and I'm just stopping the time lapse to talk a little bit. Normally, whenever I see a PS3 or PS4 that's been refurbished by Sony, there's a sticker on the bottom that says it was a refurbished. And I don't see the sticker on this one, nor do I see any residue that would indicate that there was a warranty sticker on here. So I really, this PS3 is a bit confusing, but I don't know. Everything worked perfectly fine, and there's nothing odd about it on the inside other than those NEC token capacitors. That's it for putting it back together, and I got the feet on. So I'm going to just do a quick cut, and to where I'm set up, we can install the PS3 update file. I already have it downloaded. I'm unsure of if I'm going to walk you through where to go to download it. Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. I'll jump over to the computer first. We'll download the update file, set up a USB drive, and then hook it up to this, go through the install process, boot it up, and make sure it's still playing games and working just fine. So let's hop on over to the computer. Okay, on the computer now, and we're going to go ahead and make a thumb drive so that we can download the update file and get the PS3 set up for a fresh install. First thing we want to do is we're going to look for a PS3 update download, and it should take us right here. It's going to first download PS3 system software, and update, blah, 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 blah. And just go ahead and download PS3 update, and it should be a .pup file. Okay, there it is. It's just showing two files still. So we've got the PS3 updat.pup. That's exactly how it should be. And you need to create a file structure or a folder structure for this to go in. So right here on the downloads, where it's at, just to make this simple, I'm going to create a new folder called PS3, all caps. Inside that one, we're going to create a new folder called update, again, all caps. And then we're going to take this PS3 updat.pup file. If you don't see extensions on your computer, don't have to worry about it. You don't need to see .pup, but if you're curious, you go up here to View, and there's a checkbox that says File Name Extensions on Windows 10. So I've got this cut. I'm going to cut, go PS3 update, paste it right in here. And then we're going to go back to my PC, because I've already got a thumb drive connected in here, and it's the I drive. We're going to right click this, properties, or not properties, sorry, right click this, go to format, restore defaults. If you have anything larger than a 32 gig USB drive, it's going to default to NTFS or exFAT, depending on what it is. So we want it to be FAT32. If you don't see FAT32 available, it's because it's too large, and Windows 10, or just Windows itself, will not do FAT32 through the format option built into Windows. You can go out there and download any other formatting tool, like Mini Partition Tool, Mini Tool Partition Wizard. I've used this for larger USB drives, but we'll go back to this. FAT32, default settings, quick format, start, and it's going to be done. There we go. Close that. Back to downloads. This PS3 folder we created. We're going to cut that, go into the USB drive we just made, and paste. And this is a USB 3.0 flash drive, so it goes by pretty fast. Once it's done, it is ready to go. We will just right-click this drive and click eject. You always want to eject your flash drives or external media. That way it finalizes any writes happening to the drive and lets you remove it safely. So now we can go ahead and disconnect it and go back to the PS3. Okay, pretty easy process. I've already got the USB drive hooked up to it, as well as a controller, because you will need a controller hardwired, or just through your USB cable connected to the PS3. Once you've replaced the hard drive and you need to install the updated file, you have to connect it through a wireless controller because it's going to start up in safe mode first. So power on. Hopefully it doesn't go boom. It hasn't yet, so I think it's good. I'm going to pull the camera up. Hopefully you don't see my ugly mug. And I've got the HDMI cord connected. I'm going to turn the light off. And safe mode. So it says connect the controller using a USB cable, and then press the PS button. PS button's right there in the center. System software cannot run correctly. Press the PlayStation button to restart system. If you can't restart it, blah, blah, blah. Connect storage media with data version of 4.31. We downloaded something already, loaded it to the USB drive, so we're going to start select. Checking, please wait. It's going to say something about how it needs to format the hard drive. Because this is a brand new, well, quote unquote new, it's used, I think 2020, I think, hard drive. If you're upgrading the hard drive in your PS3, it's going to go through the same process because it needs to format it for the file system that the PS3 uses. All right, here we go. System partition of the system storage will be formatted. That's just telling you that it needs to be formatted. So press start select for at least 5 seconds. And then we will speed through this next part because it takes a while to format the hard drive. So jump cut or fast forward, whatever I feel like doing. Okay, you thought I was joking when I said it was going to take a while. It definitely took a while. So, system software 4.86. I'll be honest with you guys, I actually haven't done the clip wherever I went to my computer and set up the USB drive. I think the newest version is 4.87. That's what's available on Sony. But I've got the old one here still. So press the PlayStation button, checking for the update file. Okay, simple enough. We're going to boot up into the main menu. I'm going to pop a disk in, and it'll start to read it, load it up, no problemo. I can hear it spinning up. Should pop up here in a second. There it is. That's right, Call of Duty Black Ops 2. So I'm going to just fast forward this right to the point where I'm loading into a game, and that'll kind of show that it's not just reading the disk, but it's also loading resources off of a disk. Because I've found that sometimes it'll start to load a game like, you know, to go through the cutscenes at the beginning and show that the game is starting, but they might have issues actually launching a game because it has to read so much more data off of a disk in order to load assets to start a map. So I'm just gonna fast forward until I'm actually in a game and playing. Boom, bam, ladies and gentle peeps, there we have it, loaded in. A little bit of Black Ops 2 Zombies. No music going on right now. I don't have to worry about any like copyright claims. I don't think there's actually any music. I think it just makes like sounds and stuff, but let's just kill a few zombies and you all can enjoy me making some zombie sounds. Bruh, blah, brains. Give me the brains. Stab. Oh, reload. Shunk. Shunk. Oh, instant death. And we'll just repair this. Good enough. Oh, I'm on round 2 now. Ooh, I'm gonna repair this one back here. They always come out of the bathrooms here. Oh, I still have instant death. Ooh, I should probably just wait. Nope, it's about to be over. But yeah, this is honestly, this is enough. It's loading resources. It's, ooh, come on. It's loading resources. I'm in a game. It's kind of started a map that lets me know that it is working properly. Ooh. It's reading from the disk properly. It's reading from the hard drive properly. Hard drive's good to go. So I'm playing kind of poorly, but normally I do a lot better on this because I actually use Black Ops 2 to test all my systems. I test all my systems playing a little bit of zombies. But that's going to do it for this. I'm just going to kind of end the video here. Hopefully this helped you out in some way, shape, or form. It was entertaining to watch. I don't know. I actually feel really tired right now. It's been a long day. I'm just physically and mentally exhausted. And we're just trying to have some fun, fixing an easy system. But hopefully this helped you out, kind of showed you some maintenance you can do on your PS3 and get you going. If you enjoyed the video, or if you just thought something was interesting, or if it helped you out, feel free to leave a like. If you didn't like something, go ahead and hit that down button. Either way is good with me. If you've got any comments or questions, or you just need some help, some general help with the PS3, or why I did something some way, or why I didn't do it the other way, feel free to leave a comment. I'm going to close it out here. Take care. You all have a great rest of your night.